back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And a lot of you are probably wondering, where have I been? And if you're not on Twitter, I'm going to let you know. I ended up coming down with COVID, and I had a really bad case of it. And it was horrific, and it's something that I never want to go through again. But I'm starting to do better now. I have some post-COVID symptoms, but I'm back to doing podcast. You know, me and Matt are back at it. If you haven't listened to our last episode, Matt did a great solo run, and be sure to check it out. But I'm coming around, and I'm looking to get back to podcasting. I did get some messages on Twitter, some private messages. I really appreciate everybody reaching out to me and asking how I'm doing and about my health. It really meant a lot to me. When you sit down here and you podcast, you don't really know how many people, really care about you in a way, I guess. But I was pretty overwhelmed. Thanks, boys. You know who you are, Piercy, Blake, and there are some others as well that wished me. Gave me some well wishes. I really appreciate that. And I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be podcasting for everybody that has given us an opportunity and our loyal listeners. So I missed quite a bit, to be honest with you. Matt, something I want to talk about is the Blackhawks losing Adam Gaudette. I think it's a huge loss for the team, and I can't believe that it actually happened.
Yeah, well, first of all, welcome back. Good to have you back. And yes,
thanks, partner.
Gaudette getting the trade, or actually they waived him, and we gave him away for free, which something I didn't understand either. And it's never a good thing when you look at the box scores to the Senators and you see Gaudette's name in the goal column. And I don't think they gave him. They didn't give him a look, and it's something that you can't teach is speed, and that guy had it, and I think the Hawks might regret that in the future.
100%. I thought that he had a lot of offensive upside to him, and he had a lot of grit to his game as well. I was really surprised to see that, just to see him on Ottawa. I was looking at some highlights. I'm like, what the heck? Gaudette on Ottawa. When did that happen? Yeah. So that's crazy. I'm really disappointed in that. And
even Subban. I don't know if you saw. Malcolm
I
was
saw
also
that.
Traded to Buffalo, and I guess that's good for him. Honestly, if I'm Buffalo, I'm going after Delia because I think Delia is just a better goalie.
Yeah.
And like I told you a couple weeks ago, I did go to a Ice Hawks game versus the Wolves, and Delia was in net, man. He was rock solid. He looked good. He looked like he's been in the minors for a while. It looks like he's comfortable in there, and he's very confident. And I mean, if Buffalo wanted to go for a goalie, I'm surprised they didn't go all in for Delia on that.
I think Delia is an AHL All-Star and maybe an NHL, kind of fringe player, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think Subban is
he's better than
with
Subban.
him. But if Buffalo, you need a goaltender. Maybe they like Subban's. Maybe he's a little bit younger, and he's got a little more promise. But I don't know, man. He's been started with the Bruins. He went to the Knights. He went to the Hawks, and it's not working out. He's playing on two really good teams, and the Hawks were not that good. And usually, if you can't hack it on one of the three, I mean, something's not right. So I know Craig Anderson went down in Buffalo, so they're looking for a goalie, and I'm surprised they didn't call Dallas, to be honest with you.
Funny that you mentioned that. I was just going to bring up that I believe that there are rumors that Buffalo is contacting Dallas on Anton Khudobin.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, that's a goalie I would probably go after. Honestly, I think I would take a shot with Ben Bishop, but his injury thing might scare a lot of teams. Yeah, he does get hurt quite a bit, but he's a very good goalie. And I think they're going to go with the Stars. They're going to go with Ottinger and Braden Holtby, who's kind of turned his game around since going to Dallas from Vancouver.
So to get back to the Hawks, They're about 2-1 since our last the last podcast that you did. 2 shootout wins. I thought that they were big wins, but what I do want to talk about are the 2 games between they beat the Caps, which I thought was huge. They lost to the Rangers. Man, that was a tough game, man. You know what? I saw that dude. I forgot his first name, Nemeth. That guy was all over the place.
I think Adam Nemeth.
Yeah, man, he was all over the place. And
team. Yeah,
they do. I saw, it just seemed like the bread man popped up for an assist, and then popped up for a goal, and then popped up for another assist, and then I didn't see him other than that. It's almost as if he was like some kind of Houdini who just popped up out of nowhere, put up 3 points, and then disappeared. Adam Fox had a pretty decent game. He seems to. I think he does a good job of pinching when at the right time, which is something that which is obviously a very big skill. I'd also like to mention that Seth Jones is 3 points behind Adam Fox in points. So if this is the case, are we going to put this guy in the Norris conversation? Because it seems that as we've mentioned, the Norris isn't it doesn't seem to take into defensive defensive prowess. It's mostly about who scores the most points as a defenseman. But taking into consideration the season that Seth Jones is having, do you think that he's in that conversation?
He has to be. Yeah, he's leading the team in points, the Hawks right now. I think he's number 2 in assists.
I think he's number 1 actually. They were mentioning it in a game the other day where they said if this is the first time another player is leading the team in assists with Patrick Kane on the same team.
Yeah, 19 assists this season. He is a -9, but hey, when Derek King took over, I believe he was a -15 or 14. So he is getting better. It's getting better. But for me, if he's gonna, you know what? And his shot is very, very underrated. I thought he's been playing very, very well since the coaching change. I think it's benefited him a lot. And I would put him in the Norris category, but I think having a minus, in that stat department is not going to help him, even get a win on that award.
Yeah, I agree. That first 12 games really, really hurt the team, man. If you really think about it, if we had Derek King, there's a possibility that we'd have an 8-4 start, which is a lot better than what was it, 2-10-1 or something like that, or 2.
Brutal, yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up really, really quick. We had the Islanders yesterday. God, man, Islanders, what a boring team to watch.
It was rough.
It was, they got a lot of grinders on there. Cal Clutterbuck taking a shitty run at Taser. I really enjoyed the Hawks winning that game because I didn't want to see this all-out grinding team try to grind out a win. They're in trouble because the way that they're built, that they're more built for playoff hockey, and they're not built for the rigors of the regular season. And that's why you have other teams that are studs in the regular season comes to the playoffs, and then they bow out in the first round. I don't think that Matthew Barzal is. I don't think that's enough talent on the team to push them over offensively. Can you believe that? Can you believe that overtime? I mean, they were just standing there with the puck, man. They weren't doing anything.
I don't know if you saw the tweet I put out. It almost seemed like they were trying to go to the shootout.
Right.
And I even said, you better pray you don't go to the shootout because Fleury's, he's been on lately on those shootouts, and he was great in it last night too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would get the puck in the zone, and they would go back out of the zone and regroup kind of. Try it again, and then they'd go behind the net, do a line change. And I think even Dylan Strome was giving them a hard time after the game. It's like, well, we didn't even know what they were doing. They were just trying to help their puck possession time or whatever he said. But, I'm surprised that it's just a little a little too conservative. It almost seems like very early Barry Trotz, Nashville Predator days. Like, we don't have a good team, so we have to play this way. But they do have some players that could, they can go for some goal. I think Barzal should be given the green light to do what he's got to do in a game. And it seems like he's kind of being held back a little bit,
I think so too. He was completely unnoticeable yesterday. I mean, not as a, I did see him, but it wasn't, like, oh, Barzal's got the puck. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
And especially in OT, it's 3-on-3, probably because they knew that if they got caught too deep, that the Hawks would burn them. But which is typically what they do to teams in the overtime. But he would skate over the blue line and just skate it all the way back. It was like, I was wondering, is that even legal? Can teams just not play like that?
Well, sometimes if the puck is stopped too long, you'll get a whistle. I've only seen that maybe once. I think when the Tampa Bay Lightning were playing like a trap mode against the Flyers back then, they had one guy kind of attacking the puck carrier. The rest of the guys were in their own zone. And the Flyers were like, really? We're going to play this way? We're just going to stop here. And I think they blew the whistle and started over again. But yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, Barzal's a very skilled player, and he's very good with puck possession. I saw it last night. He was skating around the net, turning around, looking for something else. And you know what? He ended up making the pass on the tying goal in the third period in the final seconds.
Uh-huh.
He made a good play. But in overtime, you got ice, man. You got all that space. I mean, this is what it's for. It's for guys like Barzal to show us what you got. Just let's see your talent. And I'm just surprised he had one guy in front of him. I don't know about that. I'm going to turn around. It's very weird. It was very weird to see.
Yeah, I was completely confounded by what I saw. But Flower got both wins. He beat the Caps and the Islanders, which was great. I thought Lankinen played really well against the Rangers. We lost that what was it, 3-2. It was
very close.
It was a tough game, but I thought that he played well, man. He played well enough for them to win the game. After we got that what was it, that
weird tying goal, or that last, was it the Brinkat?
Yeah.
And I think it just snuck in before the whistle blew, and all the Rangers fans were going nuts about it. How did that count? And well, it crossed the line, guys.
I was
that
like,
means it's a goal.
I was like, come on, man. I know we could win this. Because, when that kind of stuff starts happening, you start to shit the bed.
Stuff's going your way. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was hoping we'd pull that one out, at least take it to overtime. We didn't. But that was a close game. We're playing them what is this, Monday? Yeah, we played them Tuesday night. So when you're listening to this tomorrow, everybody, Hawks play the Rangers at home. And I think we're going to have another good one. So
yeah, I think so too. I think the bread man, he kind of steps up his game when he's playing against his buddy Kaner, and he does very well against the Hawks.
Yeah, he does.
Very entertaining still. One of my favorites still.
So we got some NHL news going on. We got 2 firings. Who are those 2 firings, Matt?
We have a firing. Green was fired for the Canucks, and also the GM, Benning, was also canned.
Wow.
And they hired Bruce Boudreau. Finally, he gets a job. It's been, 2 seasons now? It's almost like he's been waiting in the wings for his opportunity. And the Canucks called, and he took the job. And I don't know if it's going to help them, guys, but, he is pretty successful. He's been with the Capitals, and, he's taken them. He didn't take him to the Cup. He couldn't even get him out of the second round. But I liked what he did with the Ducks. He got him far, and he ran into a powerhouse Blackhawks team in 2015, and one of the best playoff series I've ever seen against was that year, and they just fell short in Game 7. But he's not really a defensive-minded coach. He might adjust some things in Vancouver, and it might help. But the team's just got to play better. It comes down to the players. They got to do a better job.
Looks like Vigneault was also fired.
Yeah, Alain Vigneault was fired, and they hired Mike Yeo. He's a former St. Louis Blues coach who was fired the year they won the Stanley Cup. So
Yeah, he was also
he is on interim basis though, so he probably won't be around next season. Just probably going to finish the year out, maybe like a Derek King scenario. But who knows? Philly's in big trouble. They can't score goals. That's their problem.
yeah. Yeah, he also what was it? He coached the Wild, right? When they got the big
Yes, he
Suter
Yep.
and Parisi signings.
Yeah, I think he was. You know what? It's funny. I think he replaced Bruce Boudreau, and Bruce ended up going to the Ducks, and then he took over his spot. So it's kind of weird how that works because these guys kind of both crossed paths before, and they both got hired today. So
Yeah, and they both
Yeah.
had the unfortunate circumstance of having to play the Blackhawks during that time early in the playoffs. Crazy, man. So Leonard's dropping out of the Olympics. Is this for COVID related reasons?
He said it was his mental health, which
Ah.
Yeah, I agree. I think what he said was he didn't want to take a chance, testing positive and getting stuck there, and that you can't leave, and he's got family back here. I don't blame him one bit. It is risky, and he said for his mental health's sake, I think he's going to hang back, and he said Sweden's in good hands with Jacob Markstrom, who's been on fire this year. I think he's at 5 or 6 shutouts, and he's
Wow.
just a brick wall for the Calgary Flames. And I'm sure the Vancouver Canucks are, we shouldn't have let this guy go. But, they do have a good goalie in Thatcher Demko. But seeing a guy just rip it up in the same division is never a good thing.
Looks like Raska's getting close with the Bruins as well.
Yeah, I saw a report today that he was practicing with the team, and he's a legend over there. I'm sure they might bring him back for a cheap minimum deal, and it could pay off if they are trying to make a playoff run.
Do you see the Boston as a playoff team right now? I mean,
No.
what I mean is as a team that can go to the conference finals or so.
No, I think they're a one-line team. It's
Yeah.
Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasta. But I just they're not the same. They're not that same team they were. And I know Jake DeBrusk has been still looking for a trade, and that's it. I don't think that affects how the team's playing, but it's guys starting to want out. It's never a good thing.
Yeah, because that goes around the locker room, and
Yes, it
especially
does.
Taylor Hall. He's probably like, "What the heck is going on? Why can I never find it?" A team that can be consistently, make it into the playoffs.Maybe it's a Taylor Hall
sucks.
curse.
It is. They're gonna get a first round pick though, at least out of this, the Bruins, because he's been on what, 4 teams that got a first round pick while he was on the main roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's having an okay season. He's got 5 goals and 6 assists. Obviously you want more out of it, but I think them losing David Krejci was
Huge.
That's a depth centerman, and he probably would have benefited playing with Taylor Hall, and they don't have him, so
Huge. The Islanders, they just lost to the Blackhawks, and they're having a really, really rough go of it right now. Do you think that some changes need to be made there in Long Island?
I don't know. I think they really believe in Barry Trotz, and you know what I noticed was the Russian goalies aren't playing that great. They're not stealing games like they were last season. Sometimes you need some goalies just to play out of their minds and get hot. But you know what? That long road trip really hurt them, I think. It's not easy, man, being on the road for, what was it, like 12, 15 games or something? I don't
That's
know
insane.
the exact number. I think they finished one game under 500, which is pretty impressive, actually, if you're on the road that long. But it's I'm not going to say it's unfair, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they have a new building, and it wasn't ready, and you got to start on time. So, and then they were hit with a COVID bug. They had to postpone 3 games. So, Yeah, it's not going well. They're 5-10-5 and sitting at the bottom under the Flyers, and that's a very good division. The Caps, the Rangers, and Hurricanes. Those are even the Penguins are up there, and that's a scary metropolitan division, man. So they need to get very, very hot if they want a chance to get back in that 1, 2, 3 spot or even a wild card. But all the other teams in front of them are playing well, so it's going to be a challenge, man.
Yeah, I think that they're slowly digging themselves into a hole that they might not be able to get out of.
Well, like Dave McCarthy says, if you win 10 games in a row and you dug yourself back to, just before you fall in the hole, and you're kind of, you're at even, you gain your ground, but I mean, you almost need to win 20 in a row just to get back to where the other guys are. So I feel bad for them, and then, you know what? I picked them to win the Stanley Cup this year, so I think a lot of people picked them, and you know what? It's not going well, and I'm actually surprised with the Capitals, man. I thought that they would kind of be, on the downsies this year. They're getting old, but look at Ovechkin, man. He is just, I can't believe he just scored a 750th goal, and he's gonna catch Yager soon, and just crazy, man. He's 36 years old. He's got white hair, white beard. It's insane how this guy he's a Russian machine.
Could you imagine if Yager never left?
I think Yager would have been the greatest goal scorer of all time if he didn't jump around, going to Europe and doing his thing. And it was weird for a while. I know he was with the Rangers, and I think he bought a team in Czech Republic, and he wanted to play for it. And yeah, it's crazy. He should have stayed. He could have been up there with Gretzky, or even more than Gretzky.
Dude, I think that Yager would have had a bare minimum 850 goals.
Yeah, for sure. And he would have been playing with, guys. If he stayed with the Rangers, I mean, look at the Rangers. A couple years back, they had a pretty solid squad, and he could have even went back to the Penguins, which was a rumor. He could have been playing with Sid and Malkin.
Yeah.
So you never know. It could have been even better.
He was still in his prime when he left.
Yeah, that's insane. I never understood that one. I think it was a money thing, or maybe he wanted to go home. He got homesick, but yeah, we'll never know.
Crazy, man, crazy. So you got anything else?
No. Who are we playing next game?
Rangers.
Do you know? Yeah. All right. That's on Thursday.
Tuesday.
It's tomorrow. Jeez, my days are off, buddy.
You know what?
Sorry.
I'll double check. I got it here in my calendar. But
yeah, that's exciting.
Looks like we are playing the Rangers tomorrow at 7:30.
All right.
In Chicago.
Let's get some revenge on the bread man and see if we could shut him down. It's not an easy task.
No, it's not. But I think that the Hawks could do it if if they can just. I thought that they played well. They lost a really good game to a really good team. And you can't really ask much more than that if their team's going to lose. I mean, this isn't like it was a month and a half ago when we're just getting completely blown out. Where there's no. I wouldn't say there's no compete. I would say that there's no competition from one team, the Hawks, because of some shortcomings with the coaching staff. Now that they're playing better and they are competing with teams, and it's nice to see.
They tightened up. They tightened up that back end, which is what we needed to do.
Big time.
And we're competing every game. We haven't been blown out since Derek King has been head coach.
That's I'm knock on wood. That's that was the number one thing that they needed to fix, and look what happened. We're on an 8-4 run.
Yep. Hey, one quick thing.
Go ahead.
So me and Nick were talking. Nick from the FHN, Broad Street, 30 on Broad Street, talking Blue Shirts. He thinks that Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina, and I kind of think Jack Campbell is more deserving. I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I know that Jack Campbell has more wins, and he is playing on maybe a slightly better offensive team, But I think this guy doesn't get enough respect, Jack Campbell.
I don't think he gets enough respect as well. I am pulling for Elvis Merzlikins, obviously, because I'm.
Yes, how he's playing.
Yeah, he was not as good last year as he is right now, and he is motivated, from the death of his friend, and he's, to be honest with you, compared to last year, he's playing out of his mind, and I respect that. I really, really respect that, and I really hope that he can earn that award. But I do. But that being said, I do believe that Jack Campbell is. He doesn't get a lot of the respect that he deserves, especially playing on that Toronto team with that pressure.
It's not an easy city to play for.
Yeah, I mean, you can just add the pressure on top of it. Playing in the city, it's not like he shows up to the rink and there's a couple people out there and that's it. That place is packed every single game. The fans are outside. They'll let you know what they think about you too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not easy to play New York either, and following the shadow of Lundqvist, it's a hard thing to replace, like to take the reins from the king. And I think this kid's I didn't realize how good he was until I watched him, and I was really bummed out when he got hurt. And we didn't get to play him. We played the other guy, Gorgiev, I think his name was. Was it Igor?
Yeah.
And some weird freaking names this season, man.
I wanted
weird
to call
names.
him Gorbachev.
Yeah, Mikhail Gorbachev in net. And I know I joked with you before when we were talking Rangers goalies. I'm like, we'll just say Richter and Lundqvist, because those are the only goalies I've ever known. But I'm disappointed that he's still hurt. We're not going to get to see him. But I did get to watch him the night before they played the Hawks. I forget who they were playing, but man, he was coming up big, and I know Nick raves about him, and he knows his hockey, man. He's a bright dude when it comes to hockey. He's got hockey knowledge, and he was right. But I think it's going to come down to the last couple games if they're going to give the Vezina to Campbell the way he's playing, or if this kid Shesterkin. So it's going to be a cool Vezina race.
Yeah, it is. I'm still pulling for Merzlikins though.
Yeah, he's one of my new favorite players. Just seems like a very likable dude, and he's a good goalie.
Yeah, he is. So, all right, everybody, that's all that we got for you tonight. We got a new podcast. It's going to drop this Friday. We're going to try and get back to our normal schedule, and start bringing back our 2-a-week podcast drop. So be sure to check it out. Thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. And that's all that we got for you tonight. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.